Hello everyone, I am Caleb Dankwa, and then today we are continuing for our discussion. And then today I'll be discussing the TIC and the TIN approach, client approach to software architecture. So to start with, basically the TIC client software architecture is an architecture that performs functions independent. That is to say, a significant portion of computing powers is off the server. And then these functions include storing and retrieving data and programs on all apps and local processing. A thick client is also known as a fat or a rich client, whereas a thin client is designed to be especially small so that bulk of the data processing is done on the server. A typical example of the thick client software architecture is personal computers connected to local area network, virtual network, or cloud computing servers, or the internet are prime example of thick client. Also, we can talk of apps such as Microsoft Office Suite 365 and then the Adobe Creative Cloud are all examples of a thick client software architecture. And then basically an example of the thin client software architecture is also the various web browsers that we use. Example is Google Chrome. It's an example of the thin software architecture. So it is important for us to note that the thick client software architecture has its own demerits. Some may argue that the cost of installation and then maintaining such software architecture is always high, and again the risk factors that is associated to the thick software architecture, because it's basically connected to public network, is always high. And then other disadvantages such as the scalability issues and then the control you might have over your architecture or the software architecture is always minimal. However, I strongly believe that despite all these demerits, the thick client software architecture is the way to go. I believe that every information system architecture or every software is prone to attacks, just as we discussed last week. And therefore, the advantages of the thick software, client software architecture, I believe outweighs the demerits. Advantages such as rich geographic user interface. One of the notable advantages of thick client involves the capability to deliver a rich graphic user interface. Examples of such user interfaces include the fully featured operating systems, graphic intensive video games. The fans, guys who like video games can attest to that. Also, server performance efficiencies, because the tech client server architecture may use different servers, including cloud servers and different other servers. It always perform to the maximum. A client server architecture based on tech clients does not need high performance servers. This is because processing and other hardware functionalities transpire at the local or individual level rather than centralized level. And then once again, I also believe that when you're using the thick client software architecture, when you are even offline, you are not connected to the internet, you can have access to whatever you are doing. So based on this argument, I will go with the thick client software architecture. Thank you very much.